to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. These large reserves have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. These large reserves have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. These large reserves have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. These large reserves have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. These large reserves have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. These large reserves have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. These large reserves have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. These large reserves have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. These large reserves have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. These large reserves have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. These large reserves have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. These large defeated. Parents united will never be defeated. Students united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. Teachers united will never be defeated. Parents united will never be defeated. Students united will never be defeated.
Are there any students being recognized tonight from Roland High School in the audience? Roland High School students, please come. We have one here. Yeah, if you're getting recognized, please come with me so I can check you in. Thank you.
Everywhere we go,
Everywhere we go,
people want to know
people want to know
who we are.
who we are. So we tell them
We are the Union,
we are the Union,
mighty, mighty Union,
the mighty, mighty Union,
fighting for justice,
fighting for justice.
fighting for justice.
Who are we? Who are we? Who are we?
We
We
are,
are the Union. Who are we?
we are the Union,
Who are we?
we are the Union,
Who are we?
we are the Union.
Now, if I was trying. No, they spend some of that money and start recording this stuff. I'll be out of here.
Yes, for Tracy, Fire, and Red Fire. But I don't
Buenas noches. Si necesitan interpretación, está disponible para ustedes. Por favor, yo estoy aquí en la puerta, en la primera puerta acá. Si necesitan interpretación, tenemos interpretación en español.
Don't have guilt by association.
Maybe up there. See those two up there?
저는 이혼을 할까입니다. 한국 분이시면 사역이 필요하시면 제가 도와드리겠습니다.
I think the side of my head's going to be a Humphreys. The whole meeting's going to be.
That's good.
Oh, cool.
Are there any other students from Roland High School here that are being recognized tonight? If so, please step out to the hallway. a red sweatshirt on one. This is my other one.
Are you the court recorder?
No, I'm the interpreter.
Oh, the interpreter.
One of the best.
Okay. Better than me, is that right? I'm an English interpreter. I interpret English.
United, we'll never be defeated. Hey, hey, ho, ho, this large reserve has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, this large reserve has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, this large reserve has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, this large reserve has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, this large reserve has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, this large reserve has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, this large reserve has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, this large reserve has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, this large reserve has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, this large reserve has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, this large reserve. What do we want it? Now. What do we want? Fair contract. What do we want it? Now. What do we want? Fair contract. What do we want it? Now. Everywhere we go. Everywhere we go.
People want to know
People want to know
who we are.
who we are.
So we tell them.
So we tell them
We are the union.
we are the union.
Mighty, mighty union.
Mighty, mighty union. Fighting for students, for education, and for education. We have power. What kind of power? Union power. Who's got the power? We got the power. What kind of power? Union power. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. When working families are under attack, what do we do? Stand up and fight back. When working families are under attack, what do we do? Stand up and fight back. When working families are under attack, what do we do? Stand up and fight back. The people united will never be divided. The people united will never be defeated. Parents united will never be defeated. Students united will never be defeated. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. This large reserve has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. This large reserve has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. This large reserve has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. This large reserve has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. This large reserve has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. This large reserve has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. This large reserve has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. This large reserve has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho.
Good evening. We have returned to open session at 6:04 p.m. All in attendance will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag by Northern Elementary School fourth grade readers Christopher Folkley, Bridas Hernandez, Jaden Gomez, and Brisa Corella.
Please stand. Right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We do have a closed session report tonight. On a motion by Lynn Evankamp and second by Angelina Pride. Oh, I'm sorry. It is recommended that the board appoint Juan Carlo Marquez to the position of high school assistant principal with an effective date to be determined. On a motion by Lynn Evankamp and second by Angelina Pride. The vote of the board was as follows. Carrie Chen, yes. Lynn Evankamp, yes. Donna Friedman, yes. David Malcolm, yes. Angelina Pride, yes. Performing Arts Center Manager, Mark Villalobos. It is recommended that the board appoint Mark Villalobos to the position of Performing Arts Center Manager with an effective date to be determined. On a motion by Lynn Evankamp and second by Angelina Pride. The vote of the board was as follows. Carrie Chen, yes. Lynn Evankamp, yes. Donna Friedman, yes. David Malcolm, yes. Angelina Pride, yes. Director of Transportation, Ventura Carrera. It is recommended the board appoint Ventura Carrera to the position of Director of Transportation with an effective date to be determined. On a motion by Lynn Evankamp and second by Angelina Pride. The vote of the board was as follows. Carrie Chen, yes. Lynn Evankamp, yes. Donna Friedman, yes. David Malcolm, yes. Angelina Pride, yes. Next, we are going to move to board recognitions. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Mitchell at this time.
Thank you very much. We have some students that we would like to recognize, as well as staff in schools, and if Dr. Zamora can take the podium and the board can step down, please.
Thank you. Tonight we are honoring two students, the National Hispanic Recognition Program from Roland High School. Each year, the National Hispanic Recognition Program recognizes about 7,000 academically outstanding Hispanic Latino high school juniors who take the preliminary SAT and the National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test. This year, we are excited to have two students who scored in the top 2.5% in the state, and we would like to recognize Justin Hunter and Lisette Moreno. Please come up. Again, please join me in congratulating these two outstanding students. Tonight, we're also acknowledging students from Roland High School who participated in the Los Angeles County 2019 American Kids Competition. 13 of our students from Roland High School placed in first and third place because of their pictures. So we do have our teacher here tonight, Patrick Nunes, if you could please come up. To be recognized for their outstanding pictures. We have Brandon Cruz. And we have Marissa Carlos. Congratulations to you both. Congratulations again. Now our director, Rocky Better, is going to acknowledge another group of students.
Tonight we're joined by Dr. Gabe Samokian and Mr. Judd Wood of Paxton Patterson, a leader in career technical education, to recognize Giano Intermediate School as one of 10 schools in the United States to earn the distinction of being a distinguished national practice showcase site. The college and career lab that was installed in 2017 is completely focused on creating a career experience that helps students decide where their interests and aptitudes align within a career pathway. Giano Intermediate has over 150 students taking this class that allows students to work in 18 modules that are aligned to the career pathway at Nogales High. Some of the modules that the students are taking this year in this year-long course are sports medicine, veterinary medicine, EMT nursing, personal finance, forensic science, and introduction to culinary arts. On behalf of the Board of Education, please join me in congratulating Principal Carlos Ochoa, along with teachers Amy Tomas and Melissa Lade, on their outstanding commitment to the students at Giano Intermediate.
We are very pleased to be here representing Paxton Patterson. We've had a great partnership with Roland Unified School District. Earlier today, the third annual Los Angeles County Office of Education, along with Roland Unified School District, hosted an event that was well attended, and we appreciate Mr. Ochoa's hosting and opening up Giano Intermediary to showcase the great work that you've done in a very short period of time. So we're pleased to recognize you, and I'll have Mr. Wood explain the recognition.
And before I start, I wanted to let you know that our Vice President of Sales and Marketing was here earlier today, and he is very disappointed he couldn't be here tonight, so he sent two to me in his place. But this award is presented to only 10 schools in the country, in fact in the world, and it is called the Distinguished National Best Practice Showcase. And we have a very unique instructional model where people need to come in and see what is going on in the classroom in order to understand it, because students are rotating from module to module rather than a traditional classroom setting. So this award is presented because you were true to the instructional design of the modules, The instructors, Amy and Melissa, have demonstrated mastery of classroom management and our learning management system. And they have gone above and beyond to spread the word of career exploration at the middle school level, which we think is so important. So congratulations, we salute Giano Intermediate School, and we have this banner to present to you.
Miss Twitter.
I gotta get Rocky. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for partnering with
Does it give them the special powers? Huh?
Shazam. On behalf of the board, I would like to recognize and thank the Northam Elementary School students, parents, staff, and community members for providing the refreshment at tonight's board meeting. Northern Elementary School Principal, Mr. Stahl, along with the Robotics Club and fourth grade greeters, will provide a brief report highlighting what is going on in their organization.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Mitchell, and members of the audience. My name is Steve Stahl, and I am the principal of Northam Elementary. We've been educating the children of La Puente within the Roland Unified School District since 1959, 60 years. Tonight, I am accompanied by our Start with Hello greeters and their advisor, Mrs. Torres. Our Robotics Club and their advisor, Mrs. Galindo. We also have Mrs. Salas in the house. She supports both Mrs. Torres and Mrs. Galindo. We have various staff members that came on their own today just to support us this evening. We are here. Or tonight to highlight the great things that are happening at Northam Elementary And this evening, I would like to start with Mrs. Torres. She's going to speak a little bit about her community projects that she does with the school and the community.
It is a pleasure, good evening, it is a pleasure to be here to present these amazing students. Actually, all are amazing students, part of the robotics team too. I just want to say that it was hard when they presented the idea of Start with Hello Week. I said, what do we do now? So we started just recruiting a few upper graders. We put it together. We gathered to get ideas, but most importantly to see how we could make an impact and to make this a meaningful event. So yes, we made the posters, beautiful posters. We put them all around the school. And on that Monday of September, when we celebrated Start with Hello Week, they were there, very eager, early in the morning, with a smile, very proud with their badge, Start with Hello, to greet the students as they come in. So that was that Monday, and it continued through the week. But I'm very, very proud, we're very proud that up until now, we continue with that practice. And now what they do, these amazing kids and some others that are not here tonight, they continue greeting everybody every day in the playground. After the students come in and they have their breakfast and they line up ready to start the school day, they start with good morning, hello. So you would think that's a little kind of oh, okay, everyday hello? Well, let me tell you, we have been practicing in different languages. Okay, we speak Spanish, that's easy. Good morning, buenos días, hola. No, we have learned in Portuguese, in French, in Chinese, in other languages, even in Nahuatl, which is a dialect. So that makes a little twist to the whole thing. So it's been great as a practice to promote kindness. And then just happened that a couple weeks later, we celebrated Unity Day. Get together against bullying. And also to celebrate kindness, acceptance, and inclusion. That was very important. So how do we do that? We fill up the school with posters about what kindness means. How to be nice to each other. Because this is not a value that is just for today. It's for always. And we need to really need to promote that. Along with that came Red Ribbon Week. What a perfect opportunity to put all of these together. And then we did. Besides the posters, besides the messages, we invited our parents to come to our school. And they did. And it was a beautiful celebration of community and culture. And I mean culture because you should see that food that day. It was great. So also on top of all of that, in addition to all of that, I think it was great to remind parents that we need to continue this practice for being kind to each other. And what a perfect way to celebrate Northam Nights. We are Northam Nights.
I do want to point out a few pictures to emphasize our community. If you see the middle picture there is our picnic. So we do have a Unity picnic. We celebrate Red Ribbon Week, Unity picnic, and we invite the parents to come have lunch with their children. The other community project we're working on is we're in partnership with Nogales High School. We have IB students who are either former Northam students. We actually have a Via Corta student there, or even a Hurley student. And on their way home, they will stop at Northam and they do a little tutorial with their kiddos, and they read with them. They help them with math. And we have that going on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays for an hour in our library. And so we have a picture up there showing our IB students. And of course, we have a teacher in there who oversees it. But they come willingly, and the kids are there waiting for them so they can read with our high school students. So that's another community project we're doing. The other I want to point out is how we also maximize our students' potential is with enrichment. And one of them is we have a robotics team and our Science Olympiad team. Tonight, we brought our robotics team with us, and our advisor is Mrs. Galindo, and I would like to invite her up.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for coming out and letting us come and kind of just showcase a little bit about what we've been doing at Northam Nights. One of the great things that we do at Northam is we really like to make sure that our students are exposed to lots of different ways to learn. So one way that we've been doing a lot of work is using technology. One of the ways that we've been working with technology, and it's kind of new for our kiddos and new for me as well, so we're kind of learning all together, is we've been working with our EV3 robots. We have an example over here. The students worked super hard, they got together, they worked as a team. We have 2 of them, they put them together, they built them, they communicated amongst one another and figured out, well, how are we going to put this thing together, how are we going to make this thing work? And they've just worked so hard and diligently over the past a month and a half, just coming together, spending their time after school, really just focusing on things and helping each other out. But, you know, I'm not the one doing all the work, they're doing all the work. So let me just kind of introduce them to you, and then I'm going to have a couple of them kind of just share some of the things that they've been doing. So the members of our team, we have Mari Ortega, we have Zamora, we have Kim Moreno, Gabriel Lopez, and Regina. And then we also have one more member, but unfortunately he wasn't able to make it tonight, Jairo Arbalan, but he's a very important part of our team as well. I'm going to go ahead and invite Mari and Mia up. They're going to share a little bit with you about some of the great things that they've been doing in preparation for our turkey trot next week.
Hello, my name is Mari Ortega.
Come on over. I use the microphone, you use the microphone. There you go.
Hello, my name is Mari Ortega. I'm a part of the Northam Robotics team. Every Wednesday we practice and we have built Oreos, our robot. And then we have built s'mores, but he is not here today. We have built our robot to proceed through many obstacles and much more. Hi, my name is Mia Coronado. I'm also part of the robotics team. Our robot's name is S'mores and Oreos, as she told. Together, our team name is S'moreos. We combine the name of s'mores together. Every Wednesday, we've trained our robot Oreo to do multiple tasks. For example, to fight, dance, and move through different obstacles. So we believe our team will succeed throughout the competitions and obstacles. So let's go S'moreos! Yeah.
My name is Christopher. My name is Brady Menendez.
My name is Brisa Garcia.
I do want to just point out one additional thing, if I may, an experience. We do have a 3rd grade teacher in the house, Mrs. Martinez. She led this. If you notice, we have 2 pictures of the card. Those 2 items are made out of cardboard. And they gave, this is a 3rd grade project, they gave them a piece of cardboard and they had to design this all on their own. So you see we have an arcade game and we have like a basketball game. Those are just 2 out of the many that they did. So what we did is we took all the games out at recess and we let the kids play with them. So They didn't want to do tetherball, they didn't want to do soccer. They went and they wanted to play with these cardboard games, so we did that during our recess time. But I just wanted to point that out, how creative our kids can be, and they did a wonderful job. In closing though, this work is possible because there is vision, we have commitment, and a kids first approach from all of our teachers, all of our classified staff, and our parents. Thank you, board. Thank you, audience, for listening to us and allowing us to spotlight Northam Elementary. Thank you.
While you're getting ready for the picture, on behalf of the board, we want to say thank you. What an excellent presentation about your school.
There we go. Better? There.
Next is the superintendent's report by Dr. Mitchell.
Perfect, thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you to everyone for coming out to our board meeting. We love to have a packed house, so I appreciate everybody being here tonight. Today, as was mentioned already by Rocky Vetter, our school district hosted educators from across the region for the Los Angeles County Office of Education Middle School CTE Symposium. It was the 3rd annual. The event was hosted at Roland High School with trips to Giano, as it was already mentioned, in terms of highlighting the great work happening at Giano. The highlights of the day were many. However, having the opportunity to be fed by our culinary arts students was exceptional. So our students at the Roland High School Culinary Arts Program created breakfast for us with a nice spread as well as lunch. So it was a very nice treat for the guests to see our students in action. We're also very proud and excited to announce that Giano Intermediate was designated as one of only 10 schools in the United States to earn the distinction of being a distinguished national best practice showcase site by Paxton Patterson, as was here this evening, and honestly, Carlos Ochoa was honored. I wanted to share with everybody that next Tuesday is the silver anniversary of Connections to the Future luncheon. It's 25 years, and Roland Unified has been a leader in helping our senior students in the CTE Career Certification Program develop their networking skills by interacting with business and community leaders, all there to support them now and in their future. We're extremely proud of this program and look forward to the 200+ leaders who are going to join us at this 25th anniversary. We also have, as we started to get into holiday season, the 2019 Holiday Basket Program. So next Monday, November 18th through Wednesday, December 12th, the district will be collecting non-perishable food donations at all of our school sites and at our district office for our annual Holiday Basket Program. For more than 45 years, our employees and students have partnered with the Walnut Valley Rotary to donate items for these baskets who are given to our families in need. It's also time for the Family Resource Center's annual Adopt and Shop event, where you can sponsor a student or family in need and give them the joy of the holidays with toys and clothing. Last year, more than 108 families and 284 students were served. If you're interested, please contact the Family Resource Center for a sponsorship form or visit our website. The public is also invited to our many upcoming holiday performances. Just a few to note is our district elementary band and string winter concert. There are 2 concerts. The first will be held on Tuesday, December 3rd at Nogales High School, and the second will be held on Monday, December the 9th at Roland High School. So I would just would invite everybody to come out and support our elementary music program at one of those 2 nights. Thank you.
Thank you. We will move to the Student Board Representatives Report. Santana High School ASB members Eileen Hernandez and Juliana Vasquez will provide a report.
Good evening, board members and Dr. Mitchell. My name is Juliana Vasquez. My name is Eileen Hernandez. Thank you, Ms. Friedman and Ms. Evankamp for coming to our back to school night and supporting our ASB fellows. We appreciate how much you support all that we do at Santana. Different events that have taken place at Santana since our visit here, our ASB went to the Laguna Art Museum and saw some beautiful pieces of art by Thomas Hunt, Mildred Bryant Brooks, and Lori Brown. The college and career class went to Cal State Long Beach, and on October 25th, ASB hosted a mummy wrap activity for the whole school. On November 5th, ASB had our first blood drive of the year. It was a great success with 34 pints of blood given out of the 156 students who attend our campus. We appreciate both Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Rivas who came to visit us on that day. It was fun to have you come and experience our event. Thank you.
Next week, Santana will have the Spirit Week with Monday as Pajama Day, Tuesday as Twin Day, Wednesday as Pink Day, Thursday as Disney Day, and Friday as Tie-Dye Day. Also on Friday, we're having our November Homeroom Challenge, which will be a pie eating contest.
Santana has been good for me in so many ways. Credit recovery-wise, I have been able to recover 70 credits since being at Santana. Teacher-wise, I have been benefited from the support of my teachers. The smaller school environment has helped me stay more encouraged and engaged in my education.
For me, I really enjoy going to Santana every day. The staff is very friendly, considerate, and willing to help and dump questions to them.
Thank you for the time and support that you invested in Santana.
Have a good evening.
We really like learning about Santana. Okay. Next, Brianna Lopez, Nogales High School Senior Class President, will provide a report.
Good evening, Superintendent Dr. Mitchell, members of the board, and members of the audience. My name is Brianna Lopez, and I am the Senior Class President, and I am here today to represent Nogales High School. In the past months, we have been having a great time at the best high school of America. During the last 2 weeks of October, we had a very busy time. CSF Club held a breast cancer awareness week with a door decorating contest, pink flower sale, and lunchtime activities. Staff and parents who have suffered from this disease were honored. We held our homecoming-themed grace. Our football team won the game against Gladstone. Keisha Narang was named homecoming queen, and the crowd enjoyed a halftime show put on by the ASB Executive Cabinet and students from our dance crew. The next day, we held our dance in the NPR. Students dressed up with 50s attire. We then had a red ribbon week put on by all the clubs on campus. Each club took time to do posters and write with chalkboard on our campus statistics. We had lunchtime activities to stress the importance of staying drug-free. Halloween came and went with Ugram sold and distributed during the day. Students hyped with the sugar being eaten all day long. During the first week of November, AP students lined up to purchase their AP test. We could see the emotions on their face, especially the seniors, as class experiences are coming around. Our first blood drive came around with over 150 donations. Cedars and I left very happy with our students, parents, staff, and community members that came to donate blood. Our tennis Lady Noble team made it to CIF, and our cross-country teams took league titles. Coming up, we have our drama club present their annual play. Winter sports will begin to win over other teams, and we will be sharing our Thankful Week, where clubs together with ASB will be giving thank you messages to our staff, faculty, and students. That is all. Thank you.
Good. Okay. Next, we will have the Yang, Roland High School ASB Speaker of the House. She will provide a report from Roland High School.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Mitchell, and members of the audience. My name is Lei Yang, and I am the 2019 through 2020 ASB Speaker of the House for Roland High School. Since the last board meeting in October, many events have taken place that have kept us quite busy. On October 14th, we had our annual senior candy buffet, where seniors could wear their senior attire to get free candy. We had a variety of candy, including gummy worms to lollipops. The next senior event was on November 5th, called Senior Rec Night. On that night, we rented inflatable jumpers and games like ping pong and air hockey and giant Jenga and Connect Four. All the seniors had a great time. At the very end of the event, the seniors huddled together to take a group picture to remember the memories they have made. The senior panoramic also took place this past Tuesday, November 12th. As all the seniors came together in the gym wearing their senior attire, the class of 2020 felt complete and quite nostalgic that we finally made it. On October 12th, Roland hosted a band field show where more than 20 school bands showed up and competed to show off who was the best. Unfortunately, if you host a field show, you're unable to compete and get scored, but our band still performed, and personally, I think it was one of the best out there. This past Friday, our choir hosted their fall show at the Roland Heights Community Center. It was a great night of singing of jazz and classical songs, as well as a sneak peek into some of the competition routines that the various choirs will be performing during competition season, which started yesterday. The next choir performances will be the Holiday Follies, December 6th and 7th, hopefully hosted in the new PAC. This show is always a great way to get into the holiday season. From October 21st through 25th, we had our Character Awareness Week, where we prompted students to keep up their amazing qualities like citizenship, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and trustworthiness. It was a spirit week with different dress-up days in the color of the respective character trait. During lunch, we had multiple activities. On Monday and Wednesday, there were speakers who came in to talk about where to go to find help and more information on what is bullying. The rest of the days, we had activities that students participated in. The most memorable for me was a water balloon toss to assess the quality of trust. The following week, we had Red Ribbon Week. We had a spirit week that, which allows students to support drug prevention, learn the effects of drug use, and to show off school spirit. The Halloween rally was a perfect way to end the week as we scared off drugs and hosted our annual costume contest where Mr. Bunyer and Deputy Cure were the judges. Many of our fall sports programs have done amazing this season. Football played the last home game on November 1st with the theme as Raider Ranch. It was also cheer, band, and football senior night. Volleyball has advanced to the second round of state playoffs, with their game actually being tonight. Tennis yesterday won their semifinal game and will play in the CIF Tennis Finals tomorrow at 1:30 at the Claremont Tennis Center. This is the first time in Roland history and that the tennis girls team will be playing for a CIF final. A huge congratulations. Finally, we have been doing our annual Pennies for Patients Michael Koifman Scholarship Penny Drive, where students can donate to their teachers' homeroom classes for a good cause. Every teacher, including our front office, have a box where you can donate money. The money is donated to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society and to the Michael Koifman Scholarship. This drive is ending this Friday, and the homerooms with the most money or points will be receiving pizza or pasta parties from Olive Garden. Next week, we will begin the canned food drive led by our Interact Club in support of the district holiday drive. Yesterday, November 13th, we celebrated World Kindness Day. The purpose of this day is to get students to realize that even the smallest act of kindness will start a ripple effect. Our ASB and leadership class students performed small acts of kindness, including giving out free hugs, complimenting other students, and even baking cookies to give out. On November 21st, our IBA is hosting a City of Hope blood drive, where students can donate their blood to people who need it. We open this up to any district personnel who would like to donate to contact us to set you up a time to donate. All students are looking forward to a week-long Thanksgiving break. However, us students will be completing our college applications. Luckily, our new College and Career Office has opened and is providing students with any information regarding colleges and how to apply. We would also like to thank our counselors and our teachers for giving up their time and helping seniors with filling out the applications and on helping correct essays. Roland Theater invites all of you to come see our fall play, Appointment with Death, which is actually having a show tonight. However, you can come tomorrow night at 7 p.m. to the last show of the season. Our band is hosting its first annual WA Field Show at Roland this Saturday, November 16th. We welcome all to attend and watch and listen to our Roland Regiment. Overall, the next month will be very busy for Roland and its students. Whether it is finishing up college applications or spending time with family this holiday season, all of these activities promote students to become a thinker, communicator, and a contributor to be a better Raider every day. Thank you for your time and have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
We appreciate you coming in. Okay, Dr. Mitchell, are there any comments this evening? Any comments?
Yes, there are.
Please note the public is welcome to provide comment to the board. Remarks are limited to 3 minutes unless extended or limited by vote of the board. A maximum of 20 minutes unless extended by the board is allocated for each subject discussed. The Brown Act open meeting regulations under which the board must operate do not allow board members to comment on non-agenda items or information you may bring up that are not on the agenda. Additionally, no action can be taken. However, the board may give direction to staff following a comment. Roy Humphreys.
Good evening, I'm Roy Humphreys, and thank you for all the good things you do. But pursuant to Superintendent Mitchell's willful and knowing failure to comply with the board's directives under resolution number SO 17-1807, with the exacerbation of the failure to agendize the item per my request on June 5-19 and denial of June 17-19, superintendent should be allowed to tender her resignation and immediate measures taken to replace her. The board has jointly and severally failed its duties and responsibilities to the constituents of Roland Unified School District in its lack of control, guidance, and supervision of Superintendent Julia Mitchell regarding the resolution as stated above. Her failure to agendize the item as previously noted. Therefore, after the trustee areas are established for the process and the 2 seats from the election thereof in 2020 and are decided, the 3 2022 seat holders should offer tender their resignations, and a special election be held to fill those slots, which will provide a one-time 5-year cycle before returning to the established pattern. We will seek a mandatory video recording of the district's board and bottom side committee meeting, and transparency will become a core value and put up on that wall right there. Thank you.
William G. Harrison.
Because when you look at the salaries of the superintendent, assistant superintendent, on down to principals, et cetera, they're at what, 200,000, 200,000, et cetera. And you guys are really the real core of education, and you're not treated as such. And nor are you treated. Our schools continue to underperform. And I say, well, I looked at the scores the last 5 years. 11 of our 16 schools are underperforming. And this has been a trend since the new superintendent's taken office here. But at the same time, she gets pay raises. Her cabinet gets pay raises. They get money, you get crumbs for the most part.
And we're the ones.
So my point here is that as I look at the scores, I'm asking the board, what is their recommendation to move the schools forward? When I ask administrators this, no one has an answer. What I get is new administrators, and they tell me things like, oh, I need another 2.5 years to turn things around. And once that's up, another administrator comes in, they have to turn it around again. So I know we have outstanding teachers here. I mean, it's obvious we have great teachers because you're united. You know, to the work to the contract. That's most important. Work to the contract. Don't do any volunteer work. Don't do anything free. They do nothing free. Don't you do anything free, because it's going to drive you power. I didn't come up here to support teachers, but I'm a former teacher. It's in our genetic, okay? It's our DNA. So I'm asking to meet with the superintendent and maybe one board member to see if there's a plan in place to move the schools forward, because I don't see it happening, and I'm very, very disappointed. I don't come in throwing rocks or what have you, but I will say this issue that's coming up within the next board meeting, so that's going to be most shocking to everybody in this room, everybody in Roland Unified School District. So again, keep up the good work. Don't compromise. Whatever you do, don't give anything back. Don't give back your medical benefits for a 2% pay raise, because they'll give it to you here and take it over here. So what you're required to get as teachers, don't give it up. I'm most impressed with Mary and Kim and Mrs. Ward. They've kept the Walter community very, very informed with what's happening here at the Roland Unified School District. Thank you.
Next, we have many cards regarding negotiations, so there'll be a 20-minute limit.
They're not all about negotiations, they're different topics.
It's not all about negotiations.
They're not all about negotiations, they're different topics. There's people are speaking.
Okay. First will be Shay Lohman.
Good evening, Dr. Mitchell, Cabinet, Board, students, parents, community, and of course my union brothers and tonight in the hallway, outside, in the back, and we are here because we want to create learning environments that attract the best and the brightest, and that's why we're here tonight. I've done my best to represent their views over the past months, but now they are here to show you firsthand that they are united. And we are committed to a contract that respects our students, our community, and the work that we do as professionals. Listen to the leaders speak and ask yourself, are we doing all we can to keep the best educators here in Roland Unified? When management proposes contract language and attempts to add more to our already full plate, that is not doing all we can to keep the best educators here in Roland Unified. When our teachers can get health care in Walnut Unified for more than $1,000 a month less than Roland, that is not doing all we can to keep the best educators here in Roland Unified. When management attempts to restrict the only 4 discretionary PN days, personal necessity days that we have, that is not doing all we can to keep the best educators here at RUSD. When management the district is unwilling to put reasonable limits on our special ed caseload, that is not doing all we can to keep the best educators here. When management is not committed to establishing contract language, to work collaboratively to address safety and discipline issues, that is not doing all we can to keep the best educators here at RUSD. And finally, but definitely not least important, I want to spend a few moments addressing how we treat our newest employees. RUSD has a problem with temporary contracts. We simply have too many of them. Temporary contracts are a legal allowance for districts to hire teachers for a temporary period of time. And in recent years, RUSD has vastly expanded their use of temporary contracts. I'd like to recognize human resource staff for their effort to make the process align to the law, which it was not a number of years ago. However, just because something is legal does not make it right. When we have that are on their 3rd year as employees, let me be very clear. The association does not believe there are any circumstances where a temp contract is better than a probationary or permanent contract. The school board will still maintain their ability to reduce staff when it is required without temp contracts. Keeping educators on temp contracts only makes the process easier for the school board and keeps teachers in limbo year after year. In conclusion, my plea to you is to look at this tonight and ask yourself, are you doing all you can to keep the best and the brightest here in Roland?
Maria Zoni.
Good evening, school board members, Superintendent Dr. Mitchell, cabinet members, and fellow colleagues. My name is Maria Zoni, and I'm a kindergarten teacher at Blandford Elementary School. I've worked for the district for 18 years. I'm here tonight to express my concerns for the increase in medical contributions by teachers. I know I share this concern with many of my colleagues who have families on their medical health plans. My health insurance costs will dramatically increase from $1,000 to $1,600 per month. This anticipated increase is a major cause of stress in my life. As a dedicated, hardworking teacher who has already suffered a heart attack while on duty, I have many medical needs that have resulted in a reduced workload. Health insurance is the #1 priority to me and my family. Why is it not a priority for Roland Unified School District and its employees? When compared to other districts, why are Roland Unified School District teachers expected to pay more out-of-pocket expenses for the same benefits others are receiving? Our district talks about building meaningful relationships. How does increasing medical for employees support positive relationships and show value to their employees? Why are we any less valuable than teachers in surrounding districts? We deserve a fair amount of contributions towards our medical benefits for teachers. Thank you.
I'm here today to talk about an increasing problem that is happening across the country and which Roland Unified School District leadership through the board and cabinet has decided to take the lead. And that is teacher burnout. I was here last month on behalf of the 700 teachers, psychologists, specialists, nurses, and counselors represented by ARE. We distributed a heartfelt plea to the board to stand with us during this bargaining cycle, where we tried to obtain a fair contract that honors our work and allows us to best serve our students in this community. And to be honest, I left that meeting feeling even more dejected and frankly angrier than when it began. I have a long history in this district, first as a student and now as an educator. As many of you know, I'm one of the many employees of Roland Unified that is a former student of this school district, choosing to serve my community that I live in and honor the teachers who helped raise me by teaching the next generation of students. I not only get to work with former teachers of mine, but I get to teach the children of former classmates from my years here. I've been around long enough that I'm just starting to get the children of some of my first students from middle school, which is terrifying. Just terrifying. I've even taught some of the children of our board members. To say that I'm invested in this community and its schools is an understatement. And yet the leadership of this district chooses to make offers that not only do not honor or support our work, but instead dismantle and disrespect the work that we are trying to do. We requested lower class sizes and we were told that it was too expensive. I guess a $55 million reserve is worth more than the student-teacher ratios that foster relationships where we get to know our students and meet the needs of the whole child. We asked for less adjunct duty so that we can focus on our lessons, and instead we were met with an offer to increase our adjunct duty. That sends a clear message that you think that we don't do enough and that we must have all sorts of extra time on our hands just to give over more, sans compensation. The 13th Amendment tells me that this isn't true unless it's for some punishment for a crime. And so I want to know what crime we've committed that makes you think that we should just give more of our work for free. I have never bemoaned not getting individual, personalized, handwritten notes from each of our members. She claimed that she treasures them and has kept them all. And as some might recall, I informed anyone who was still listening at that point that it was because I wasn't having to write all of my own curriculum last time that we did these letters. I'm sorry, not sorry. I spend my time working for my students, writing letters. It is what it is.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Mitchell, all parents, students, teachers, and staff that are here. It's a bit crazy. I'm a student of the Roland Unified School District and a parent of 13 years and going strong. So, saying that I'm invested in our teachers and our students is an understatement.
That's right.
All right, teachers affect eternity. They can never tell their influence stops, so it's vital that we give them all the tools they need to make a difference. We need smaller classes.
Yeah.
I volunteered in TK with how many kids, and it's just crazy because they're still very young and immature, that you had a kid running into the middle of the street despite having parents and teachers there. But we need much smaller class sizes. Larger class sizes means more behavioral problems, and attention then is taken away from academics because now the teachers have to pay attention to the students but not doing what they need to do. They need to have an efficient support system for discipline problems, whether it's students that have issues, whether it's handicap or whatnot, but they need the support where they can give the student a place to go so that the teachers can now refocus on what the teachers need to do in the classroom. If you don't give the teachers this time and that support, how can they do their job? And then that means my child is not getting the education that they need and deserve to have. I know this is kind of a side note, but students also need ample time to eat at lunch. There's a long line to go into the cafeteria. And if you want students to learn and come ready back into the classroom to learn more information, they need to have full stomachs and ready to go and learn for the day. Not be at the end of the line for the cafeteria and have 2 minutes to finish their food, and they come home hungry saying, "Mommy, I'm hungry because I didn't get to finish my lunch." And that breaks my heart because that's not fair to my kids or any of the parents' kids. They should have enough time to eat and play because that's also part of our state requirements, right? That they have exercise outside. So eat full tummy and then go back to class to learn, ready to go. Finally, they need financial support. I've heard this massive $1 million budget that we've had, and we need to put it into where it matters, right? And if we don't do that, then we're taking away from our kids. Stop taking our tax dollars and not using it properly. We place value in our teachers because they are the ones that make a difference in our children's lives. And if you give them the power, they will do it. There is no power for change greater than a community discovering what it cares about. And we care about our teachers and our children. So please make it happen.
Susie Trujillo.
Good evening. I am a proud parent of 2 students at Oswald Academy. I have been fortunate to have had dedicated teachers throughout my experience. Therefore, when I heard about the changes district office administrators are making towards working conditions of our educators, I felt it was important you hear what an amazing job our teachers are doing and what concerns I have for their well-being. I just want to make one thing clear. I'm extremely thankful and happy with our 2 administrators at Oswald and how they lead our school. As a parent, I know that discipline in schools can be in many forms, and schools are no longer suspending students. As I understand this, I have concerns as to consequences for negative behaviors that impact our students in the classroom as well as our teachers. What happened to the value of respecting our teachers and having a safe environment where students can learn and not feel threatened by negative peers, and without intervention to those students, the message to everyone is, it doesn't matter what you do, nothing will happen. An environment where a teacher and student feel safe is essential to a child's success. Not only are we dealing with negative behaviors lacking intervention, now teachers must also deal with having bigger class sizes, this making it harder for teachers to get to know their students, to work one-on-one between students and teachers, helping teachers to identify strengths and challenges with their students. Teachers have a variety of levels with their students, size matters. As you increase the class size in K through 2nd, you decrease the ability for the teachers to reach all students. We know that when you give a child a safe environment and proper tools, they thrive. The same applies to our teachers. However, when you take away their time from planning by increasing their time spent supervising students outside of class and extra adjunct hours, how and when are they to prepare their lesson plans? I recently asked my 2 kids to reflect on a lesson when they can tell me that they can tell that a planning took time by a teacher. And one of my daughters indicated that during a Monarchs lesson, the teacher passed out envelopes to each student. Each student then opened their envelopes to find out what their role was assigned to. My daughter, with the biggest grin, goes on to tell me that she was a monarch, her best friend was a lord, there was knights, there was peasants. The desks were separated by manners, and she can remember it like it was yesterday. The lesson was engaging, it had all the students paying attention, and she enjoyed the lesson plan. What happened to valuing and respecting our teachers? They are a big part of the process of striving students. But how can we expect motivated teachers when you take the little tools they have? No time for lesson plans, no support for behavior issues. Among their limited medical benefits, you rip them from their rights as teachers by limiting their personal necessity time. And you want to decide how they use it? If everything is done for the benefit of the children, let's not forget our teachers. They're part of the equation. When our teachers are taken for granted, it takes away from their spirit, their yearn to teach, to be creative. A successful teacher grows with her profession.
Hello, my name is Garcia, and I want to thank you for allowing me to address you today. What I would like to know is why we have a 27% reserve when only 3% is what is required by law. It seems very unjust that we have classified employees who have to work multiple jobs to financially support their family. We have staff whose children and grandchildren attend our schools here in Roland Unified. They are a part of the Roland community. If your best interest is truly in our students, then I ask you to support your classified staff. They should be able to financially support the students in your school district. They deserve fair pay. We deserve fair pay. We are part of your district. Our children are a part of your district. Ms. Freeman, We have collected comments and concerns from fellow CSEA employees, and we would like for you to review them. Thank you for your time.
Oh, man.
Micaela Wong.
Hello, my name is Michaela Wong and I am in the 5th grade at Blanford Elementary School. I'm here today to talk about why teachers should not have to work extra hours. The reason why I think this is because my mom, who is a teacher at Blanford School, is always planning lessons and reviewing student work. When she was at home planning lessons, she was always busy looking through the teacher's manual and creating assignments at the same time to seek the best way to teach the lessons to her students. Then, when I see her grading student work, she is too busy to look up from her work. What I mean by this is that most of the time when she is grading, she is too busy to eat lunch or dinner. Also, when she takes me to my activities, she's always off to the side grading papers and planning lessons. But what bugs me most of all is that she's always too busy with her work to spend time with her family. I can prove this by telling you that when we go out to dinner sometimes, she brings her computer and works on the way there. This affects me because she's not able to spend time with me. She does this by grading too much and planning her lessons. What she does is that when I ask her for help on my homework, it's hard for her to help me and grade at the same time. Also, when she is grading and doing her work, she can't come out to eat with me and my father because her work keeps her at home. This bothers me because I cannot spend a lot of quality time with my mom during weekends or after school hours. During break, she's still not able to spend a lot of time with me because of her work. She can only spend time with me on summer break because all the grading, lesson plans, and report cards are finished. If she works extra hours, this could affect her relationship with me and my family. Some things that could happen if she starts working extra hours is that she can miss out on special family dinners and my voice performances at the county fairs. Also, if the district does make teachers do extra hours, some teachers that have kids will miss out on their sports activities, games, performances, and more. In addition, teachers will miss out on seeing their children grow up. As you can see, my mom is a very hard worker, but struggles to keep up with her family life. I'm sure that other teachers with children work just as hard and struggles to keep up with their family life, just like my mom. And please, remember that our teachers work so much outside of school and do so much you don't see.
We want to extend it 20 minutes.
It has been different topics, so the 20 minutes.
I believe they're all on negotiations.
No, they're not. No, they're not. They're about topics.
Okay, we will discuss it. Some say ARE, some say work that teachers have to do. These are healthcare, safety, school culture.
Let them
speak. If you don't quiet down, we'll have to have a recess. Let us discuss it and decide. Let us discuss it. We can discuss it. The question is if we could give extra time for the same subject, for the 10 people that would like to continue talking.
I say that we do a compromise and we give another 9 minutes, and they can pick the 3 speakers they want to speak.
It's a public comment.
Really?
It doesn't work that way.
with everything we do, we
Everything,
cannot
on the
speak.
card, it states 20 minutes per topic, right? And everything, I understand that you're saying that some people talked about medical, some people talk about being disrespected, some people talked about class size, but all of those are items that are related to negotiations.
It's our life. You said last month you wanted people to talk. People are here to talk.
We need to gavel, please. When they outburst, we gotta gavel. I mean, only one of us can talk at a time.
Please give her a chance.
So I agree with Mr. Malkin, is that we can say we designate, you said there's 12 people? 10 people?
Taking the time to be here.
So then just maybe we give like half time per person instead of the full time.
Wow.
Make a compromise.
Wow. We're not.
Well, what it states is that there's a maximum of 20 minutes,
Excuse me.
there's a maximum of 20 minutes unless extended by the board.
Well,
So then that's what I'm saying.
How are we
Maybe
gonna
can
keep
extend it by half time times, and then we have less.
My suggestion is give them all 2 minutes each.
Give him 3.
Thank you, 20 minutes, okay with 2 minutes each? That would be 2 minutes each, because we have 10 more readers. Okay, we will extend it. The board decided to go with 2 minutes now for the next 10 people. Or 20 minutes total. So you need to decide if.
It's not a decision. It's citizens speaking at a podium in a public meeting. That's what it is. We don't decide who gets to speak. We don't look at their speeches. It's a public forum for people to speak. And they've spoken on different topics. There were 2 different unions that spoke, and the clock started for both of them.
Yeah, that's true.
You're breaking your own rules.
A parent to a union member spoke.
What? Don't you want to hear? Don't you want to hear the issue? Don't you want to hear why we're here?
Gavel, please. There were 2 parents that did speak, so they should be credited 6 minutes.
So 26 minutes.
we even had a child speak. And how about the child? How about the child that spoke?
Democracy looks like.
This is what democracy
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy
Show me what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks
Show me
like.
what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Last month, having just cards written wasn't enough. This month, there's more of you to speak than they want to hear, and they're shutting that down. What does democracy look like?
This is what democracy looks like.
Shay, they had 2 parents and a child speak. That's
And CSCA.
Guys, this whole thing
is 30 minutes.
And CSCA.
That's right. Add 1 minute. There's the 30 minutes. With the lawyer.
You can't lump everything under negotiations.
After work hours.
Hey, hey! Ho, ho! These water reserves have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! These water reserves have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! These water reserves have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! These water reserves have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! These water reserves have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! These water reserves have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! These water reserves have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! These water reserves
These large reserves have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These large reserves have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These large reserves have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These large reserves have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These large reserves have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These large reserves have got to go. Hey, hey.
Our speakers. Here's a podium. Who's up? Amy. Where's Amy Irving?
We're not being heard.
Amy Irving. Where's Amy at?
Amy.
We're not being heard by them.
Yeah, we're not being heard.
Make a decision. Do what's right.
Do what's right.
Do what's right.
Show us what democracy should look like.
Hear us speak.
Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak. Hear us speak.
Okay, then say something.
Hear us speak.
Hey, if you're gonna say something.
Hear us speak. Hear us speak.
Because
Hear us speak.
you ain't saying that.
Hear us speak. 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 Hear us speak.
Come on, man, you get up there.
Well, that's what they're doing. I'm surprised they let this thing go this far.
How much longer? 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 How much longer?
All right, hey. We're going to give it a chance to see if the board will let us finish.
Okay.
Yeah, let's
Be
hear something.
respectful now.
Let me hear something.
Let's be respectful now. Let's see what they got.
I don't know, I think it's right education. Beyond what I teach in math.
You just came at the ideal time.
These meetings were Thank you to quieting down. The board has decided to add 20 minutes to the clock timer. Could you please add 20 minutes and we will continue. George Buckmeyer.
Take what we can. That's it.
All right, George!
Wait 1 second. I'm sorry. I should have.
You gotta reset.
Reset.
Good evening and thank you for your time. It's nice to see everybody. Usually when I'm here, I'm sharing about some of the wonderful things my school site is doing or celebrating the accomplishment of our students. But tonight, I'm not here to celebrate our students, but to ask for your help. Over the last few years, the cost of healthcare has skyrocketed. These constant, substantial increases have made it difficult for employees like myself to provide for our families. Each year, my family, as well as many of my colleagues, have to choose the quality of healthcare we can afford. These insurance rates increases are no fault of the district, but I do feel as if the district can do more to support us. It's frustrating as an RUSD employee to deal with this year after year when I see that our neighboring districts could be saving me close to $1,000 a month in healthcare. That is life-changing money. We spend our days, many evenings, and often our weekends building relationships and providing for the well-being of our RUSD students and communities. We hope that Roland Unified will hold itself to the same standards in regards to building these relationships and work to ensure that the well-being of its employees is being met by increasing a healthcare cap that has not seen an increase in over 5 years. Thank you guys for your time.
Members of the RUSD School Board, Superintendent Mitchell, District Cabinet, and fellow teachers. I would like to call to attention the challenges of school safety that teachers face across the district. As I say school safety, I know instantly what comes to your mind. Police presence, campus cameras, lobby guards. Yes, over the last 3 years, our school sites have become safer. We have increased school safety members. We have SROs on campus. Sites have systems to check people in coming onto campus. We are generally safer than we were 3 years ago. In light of the tragic violence in Santa Clarita today, I find myself reflecting on the safety of students and staff. Campus safety is not always about what is on the outside. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas is one of the safest and most secure schools in the nation, and they are still compromised by the malicious acts of an at-risk student. The safety of staff and students relies predominantly on the direct relationships that teachers build with students. At-risk students who have desires to act out are best identified by the people they see every day, their teachers. As we continue to bargain with the district, RUSD teachers are continually being told that they need to be pulled in directions that hinder meaningful relationships with students. We have been asked to take on more adjunct duty, thus cutting into school opportunities to help and meet with our at-risk kids. Making contact with students on a daily basis further creates opportunities for identifying those students. The district wants to maintain the obviously ineffective status quo of unmanageable class sizes, preventing teachers from developing meaningful relationships. In a given English or math class, a teacher might develop a connection with class sizes of up to 40 students, all while addressing the essential reading, writing, and analytical skills to be literate in an increasingly competitive professional world. Additionally, in order to better identify and support at-risk students and ensure the safety of all parties, teachers must be able to focus on their teaching practice, but with the rising cost of healthcare, teachers are forced to wait tables or drive for Lyft to cover the rising premiums. This is the time that they could be focused on supporting students, grading, lesson planning. Students district-wide look to the security of having quality teachers they find ones they trust and confide in, as we continue to maintain a culture that refuses to recognize that teachers need stability for the benefits and working conditions. Our district continues to hemorrhage those teachers that students admire and trust. Students will be disappointed and distrustful when they return to school only to find that their favorite teacher went to another district with better benefits, salaries, and working conditions. As we continue to bargain with the district, we fight for more autonomy to meet the needs of at-risk kids. Whereas the district only asked us for more, reducing our ability to have X number of kids, to only do X number of duties, to pay X number of premiums. We teachers and students are not numbers. We are people. We are passionate for our kids, including the at-risk ones. When we support and nurture those at-risk ones, we support and nurture all. The RUSD teachers are not asking for much. We want safer school environments for all shareholders. We need less adjunct duty to identify and help at-risk kids. We need manageable class sizes to personalize our instruction. We need reasonable benefits and fair wages to allow for teachers to be the teachers that RUSD students need. A fair contract means that we have quality RUSD teachers that ensure that our students learn in a safe, positive, and learning environment.
Miguel Espinosa.
About an email that I sent to you last year. An email regarding red flags that my colleagues had repeatedly contacted you about concerning decisions of school culture, both matters of discipline and academics. Even when I sent that email, I knew that you would wait until the last minute, either to save face or to look strong. I'm really not sure why you waited so long. But that lack of urgency on your part has left us mired in a mess. Please refer to the handout. The image on the left is an image currently circulating on social media that a concerned student showed to a staff member. What you see here is the consequence of many failures in oversight over the last 4 years. Oversights that my colleagues and I ask you to intervene on. Since the first day of this year, our school leaders have been working tirelessly to fix the mess left behind. Work that should have begun much sooner. Now please look at the image on the right. These are images from an article I can send you later. It discusses the impact of teaching on teachers. You probably don't know, but I'm a member of the school leadership team, discipline committee, NGSS rollout team, science textbook adoption committee, biology course writing committee, biology PLC team, and I have 2 teenage children of my own. Oh yeah, I also teach a full day of biology without a current curriculum. I realize any day I could drop any one of those extra commitments, but like I said, school leaders have to be the ones to clean up the mess your feet dragging created. I misspoke earlier when I said that I was not sure why you dragged your feet on the email last year. I knew that was going to happen. I knew it would happen because when I asked one of you what you thought about the multiple red flags raised, your response was, it takes time to change the culture of a campus and some teachers are afraid of change. The picture on the left of that handout is exactly what we were afraid of. I am also here for bargaining tonight, and I'm going to ask you not to drag your feet anymore here, because the mess you're creating now is one that costs the culture of the district. Your slow action and the tone that it sets is creating a culture where teachers are asking themselves if teaching is worth it, where if teaching someplace else would cost them less. By the way, I'm wearing this button that I got 5 years ago that said I have 54 million reasons why, and we're still talking about the same number. Thank you.
Good evening. I would like to read to you a part of the opening paragraph on the RUSD homepage. Quote, our passionate educators are embracing new technology and working collaboratively to provide innovative learning for all. Step into our classrooms to see our dedicated teachers at work, igniting learning and engaging students in rigorous instruction, end quote. I am one of those passionate educators. However, I am much, much more. I am a daughter, a mother, a grandmother, sister, friend, and fiance. I am a woman, a pet mom, a runner, a mentor, community member, and a homeowner. Indeed, like all teachers, I am a complex person and I live a complex life. Given the complexities of life, I find it extremely offensive that the district is trying to limit the use of our 4 p.m. days. As dedicated professionals, we write detailed lesson plans to ensure our students still receive quality instruction regardless of the reason for our absence. Talk to any teacher and they will tell you it is more work to be absent because we are preparing meticulous lesson plans for our substitutes and making sure everything is organized and ready for our students. My dog, my car, my house don't care about my calendar. If something happens, I need to take care of it regardless of when my school break is. I do not forward my calendar to my family and friends so they can schedule their lives around my school holidays. My grandchildren live in a different district, and now our district wants to limit how I use my PN days so I won't be able to volunteer to chaperone their field trips or go to any of their awards assemblies because it's not during my school breaks. If my aging parents come to town, I would not be able to spend time with them if it's not on the weekend or during my vacation time. I ask, if we are such a family-friendly district, why are teachers' families not important? Discretionary PN days do not cost the district any additional money. They are included as part of our annual sick day allotment. When we use a PN day, we lose a sick day. I'd like to remind you all that ARE negotiated these 4 PN days with the district during the time when other districts across the state were issuing notices and educators were taking cuts. The district survived those rep times because ARE and RUSD worked together. ARE members understood we would earn less salary if we agreed to furlough days, so negotiating these days helped ease that stress. I would like to leave you with one final question. Why is the district spending so much effort into limiting these 4 days knowing how important they are to us? It is cruel and it is disrespectful.
Amen.
Henry Jones.
Dr. Mitchell and members of the school board and fellow teachers. I come to you tonight as an employee of the district for 30 years. I come tonight speaking on behalf of all of the teachers who spend well over $1,000 a year on out-of-pocket expenses to make our classrooms the best they can be for our students. We buy school supplies for students who can't afford it. We buy rewards. We buy snacks for them. We buy sensory and math manipulatives. We buy flexible seating. We buy book bins and bookcases, all to make our classrooms better. Now, that's not going to change. No matter what happens, teachers are still going to do that because that's the kind of people we are. We're going to reach into our pockets and give our students what they need. What would help us is if the district would let go of some of the $55+ million reserve and compensate the teachers in a way that would help us. And what we would like is lowered healthcare prices. If my combined salary and healthcare prices let go of some of the money that I could then spend on my students, that would help everyone. That would show me that I was a valued member of this district, and it would make better teachers that are happier and want to retain in the district.
That's right. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Earl Owsley. I'm a 7th grade teacher at Oswald Academy. I'm here first and foremost to show support to our union bargaining team because they are our collective and cohesive voice during this time of negotiations. We come here united in red to show our solidarity and willingness to stand up for what's best for our students and for us as a united team of professionals. This evening, I'm here to talk about our concerns with the proposed reconstruction of our 10 annual days off. What I've learned is that 4 of the 10 days that were deemed personal necessity days and part of our negotiated 10 annual days off will come with strict restrictions, making it virtually impossible to take a PN day if needed without consequences. Ultimately, we ask that our district leaders trust our judgment and leave the 4 personal necessity days as is. We ask to be trusted as professionals to use those days as we see fit. These 4 days off do not cost the district any additional money and are already built into our allotment of time. This leads us to ask questions. Do our leaders not trust our decisions as professionals? Do they realize what is involved when we actually do take the time off? Do they realize that we do indeed have a life outside of work? I have 2 daughters, and with the proposed change to our 10 annual days off, I would not be able to take time off of work without being docked in pay and running the risk of losing service credits for retirement. So I want you to consider this situation. My 6-year-old daughter comes running to my classroom after dismissal with her arms extended and a huge smile, excited to announce her classroom field trip to the Science Center, exclaiming, "Daddy, please, can you come with me on our field trip? Please, please, please." So I'm now faced with a difficult decision. Do I let my daughter down by not attending the field trip and lose out on those incredibly special memories with my child? Or B, do I go on the field trip and lose the pay, run the risk of losing out on service credits, and ultimately be financially stressed considering I'm the primary breadwinner for my family? Really, the bigger question is, Why would you all want us to stress out about that type of decision in the first place?
Yes.
Why put us in such a predicament to have to choose between our kids versus our salary when it basically has no significant impact on the district? Why not just keep our days as is and show understanding regarding the complexities of life and being caring, knowing that we have families and priorities, not just at school, but personally as well? Ultimately, we ask you to trust our decisions as professionals. We ask that you enter negotiations with an open heart and open mind. Please know we love both our school and home families and make our way through life doing the best we can. Please do not add an additional layer of stress by reconstructing our 10 days off. Just leave it as is.
School Board, Dr. Mitchell, and Cabinet. My name is Amy Irving, and I am the Vice President for the Association of Roland Educators. I started in the district as a substitute teacher in 1999 and remember before the first day of school getting an automated call asking substitutes to remain on alert because the district was worried that teachers were not going to work because negotiations were not in a good place. Luckily, a settlement was reached before the first day of school and alternative plans did not have to go into effect. For many years, times were at least satisfactory and somewhat manageable in the district, even with an economic downturn. Our district did not take massive furlough days, as you've heard, and never has been close to bankruptcy. Fast forward to now as I stand here and see our association mobilize in the sea of red again, as we face a $55 million reserve held by the district, and again, request for parity for our employees and safer conditions for our students. I can't help but to quote the great Yogi Berra, it's like deja vu all over again. It would actually be funny were it not so sad. It was about 6 years ago that our ARE president stood before your predecessors and warned them from the community and employees would no longer tolerate the hoarding of cash at the expense of student learning conditions and substandard compensation. Both the cabinet that was here at the time and the school board area at least chuckled as we made our case back then. I was here that night. Many of the same people in our shirts were here too. Yet where are all the people on the school board who opposed us? Where's the cabinet from that time? Where are Ruben and Maria now? Didn't they say they would be bankrupt by now? Finally, ARE and the district have almost been in negotiations for a year. And again, the district once again attempts to make a pathetic plea to the community that they must keep the reserve, otherwise they will be insolvent in the near future. The district again sits on one of the largest reserves in LA County, and teachers' salaries have again slipped. We're no longer in the top quartile, and the district's healthcare benefits is one of the lowest in the county. How are we supposed to attract and retain great teachers with these below than average salary benefits? With a $55 million reserve, the district continues to ask families to pay for transportation fees. Parents are posting on social media, asking for donations for music programs, and yet you have made this decision to keep a $55 million reserve. Lastly, there are familiar faces behind me wearing red who were here 6 years ago. We have some new faces who see the importance of our association and the work that we do. The people who sit in front of me right now on the school board are mostly different along with the cabinet, and I don't even know where you're going to be in 6 years. People come and go, but I do know that ARE will always be here. And when it comes to parity, we will always mobilize to fight for what we know is fair and best for our students in this community.
Debbie.
Good evening, Madam President, Superintendent, Dr. Mitchell, members of the board, cabinet, members of the audience, and my fellow educators. My name is Debbie Dowk, and I'm a kindergarten teacher at Telesis Academy. I am here to express the concerns regarding the restriction of personal necessity days to observance of religious holidays, death of an immediate family member, or a wedding. As professionals and in life, there are personal situations which occur during the school day that need to be attended to that are not the aforementioned. In 24 years of teaching in Roland Unified, I have used 12 personal necessity days, 8 of which were to attend to my ailing father.
if personal necessity days are restricted to the aforementioned, I would be found out of compliance. By restricting personal necessity days, educators are not being treated like the responsible professionals that we are. We will feel disrespected and unappreciated by every member of this board because we know the district does not incur any additional monetary cost for personal necessity days. So my question is, why restrict us? Again, personal necessity days cost the district nothing. Additional members of the board, we all know that life does not fit into a school calendar. Does the district really want to be in the position where you are determining what is important in our lives? Would you care for that in return? Or should you do unto others as you would have them do unto you? In conclusion, I want to emphasize, we are not asking for more personal necessity days. We simply want to keep the 4 personal necessity days as they are without further restrictions. Thank you so much for your time.
The next person has 1 minute and 54 seconds. Elizabeth Espinosa, London. Okay, I'll go fast. Good evening, everyone. I'm Liz London. I'm here to address the matters of supervision and adjunct duties. I was prepared to give a little more background on an idea of what works when people work and solve problems about adjunct duties and supervision duties that don't take up our classroom time during the day. Unfortunately, I have to cut it, so I'm going to go a little quicker. Elementary teachers, as all of you that work with elementary kids, we're elementary teachers and know, you understand that we traditionally go beyond our duties and obligations out of love for our students and our craft. In past contracts, assignments were made limiting the hours from 20 hours of adjunct duties to 17, exceeding the hours for our kids and our duty to our profession. We need you all to ensure that our teachers get what is just and what we deserve professionally. And increasing our adjunct duties is not going to, and not giving us a duty-free day at all sites, which is necessary, would be quite the opposite and contrary to building relationships with teachers as well as respecting us as professionals. We directly impact our children of this community. We are asking you to do what's fair and support teachers so that we can provide instruction that's best for our community. Adding more adjunct duties or taking away time to prepare instruction is not the way. Having recess and lunch duties hinder snippets of the time that's available for us to work with our community. And with respect, only someone who has walked in our moccasins would understand the value of each minute of the day that we have on our campus.
London and get her ideas that she said she didn't have time to give.
Thank you, Lynn.
I would like to ask the next two, what is your subject? To see if it's not in negotiations, then you're welcome to speak, but if it is, then our time is already limited. So Patricia Cruz, could you tell us what you were going to discuss?
About increasing instructional assistant hours.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a qualifier.
Not ARE.
That's CSCA, not ARE.
Yes, CSCA.
You're fine? Yes. Okay. And what about Karen Rodriguez? Same? Okay, Patricia Cruz, will you please come up?
Good evening. My name is Patricia Cruz, and I have been an employee of RUSD for 12 years as an instructional assistant and currently as a textbook media assistant. I am here to speak about the need to give RUSD instructional assistants more hours. Over the past few years, there have been many changes and adjustments in the special education department. For example, there was a cut in RSP instructional assistants. This created a problem since most of the instructional assistants had morning shifts, so there were fewer instructional assistants in the afternoon. The need for pushing and instruction also caused instructional assistants to be sent to different classrooms throughout a single period. This created another problem because there was a shortage of instructional assistants. Instructional assistants were only able to spend minimal time in a classroom. They had to leave in the middle of a lesson and were not able to assist the student if they had questions for clarification of material. Many instructional assistants have been working vacancies or long-term assignments for about 5 to 6 years. They are working 6+ hours and are not getting any benefits of a typical 6-hour position. 3-hour job positions are not sufficient for people to live on, and many of the instructional assistants have a second job to make ends meet. College students apply, test, interview, and then are put on a sub-list working long-term vacancies. Now is the time to please change these long-term vacancies into the long-term positions for employees that have been with the district for years. There would not be such a high turnover around and vacancies of instructional assistants if hours and benefits were given to the loyal employees who love our district. Again, I am asking you to please open up 6-hour instructional assistant and personal care assistant positions so that our students are better served. So many of the employees in these positions currently have children that go to school in our district. Having 6-hour positions would allow their children to have health care available to them and have their parents home so they do not have to go to a second job or a third job. These parents have a choice to send their kids to schools in their district city or send them to our school district. They choose RUSD, and it is time RUSD returns that investment by providing the necessary hours and insurance they need and deserve. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Just like my fellow co-worker Patty just pretty much gave you guys the reasons why we need 6-hour positions, I actually want to give you a rundown of a day of a life, in the life of a day, whatever, of an instructional assistant. I actually am very fortunate that I am an 8-hour assistant, which in the whole district there's only, 9 of us left. We started off with 19. So, anyways, my work day starts at 8 o'clock. I get to my work site, the bus lets off my little kiddos. Automatically, there's a argument with 2 of my kids over the fact that they weren't able to sit together now. These kids actually end up fighting, so that's the reason why the aide on the bus wouldn't allow them to sit together. But today, they promised they were going to be okay. So they get off the bus, they're arguing with the assistant. She takes one, I take the other, we calm them down, take them to breakfast, go get their, take them back to the classroom. Everything is fine. Now, because of their privacy, I can't name their names. So I'm gonna start by student A, student B, student C. The kids eat their lunch or the breakfast and everything, and we go ahead and we separate into our centers. And automatically, the teacher starts with his lesson. Student A decides he doesn't want to write, so he starts tapping. Well, we ignore it. That's what we're trained to. So he starts doing it louder. Next thing you know, the kids are getting disrupted. The kids are starting to be disrupted, so we try to tell him, we ignore it. He just wants the attention. Just let him keep going. He becomes so loud that another aide has to take him outside to calm him down. And the teacher is able to continue with his curriculum. From there on, all of a sudden we look outside, that kid is literally climbing the fence, running away from the aide. He's trying to pretty much elope. So the teacher has no choice but to go out to help the other aide, leaving me and another aide with the other 7 kids. So from there, they're out there for probably around 30 minutes trying to get him back into the classroom. Student B decides that he doesn't want to, oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Be real.
We need smaller class sizes. Our special ed classes are overwhelmed. I work with behavior kids. There's 9 kids. It's so hard. You know how many, what do you call it, incident reports we have to write out every day? Sorry, I know, it was too long.
Next, we have a public hearing regarding trustee area boundaries under California voting rights. I given that the Board of Education of the Berlin Unified School District, in accordance with Elections Code Section 10010, will receive and consider public input
You guys
regarding
spread the word, this is going to be on my YouTube channel, just go to YouTube, you're going to see the whole enchilada.
or by trustee area elections pursuant to Education Code Sections 5019 and 5020. The board invites public comments regarding this matter. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Mitchell at this time.
Antes de comenzar la audiencia pública, si alguien ocupa traducción en español, tenemos traducción disponible. Voy a estar aquí enfrente a esperar unos minutos. Por favor, si ocupan traducción, sí está disponible.
공청회를 할 때 도움을 줄 수 있습니다.
家长如果这是学区的公众听证会哈，如果任何的家长呢有机会想要发表的话，我会在这边帮您翻译，谢谢。
So we have translators in Korean and Chinese and Spanish, should anybody wish to have this part of the public hearing translated, as well as the opportunity to provide comment to the board. At this time, I would like to turn the podium over to Ron Wenkart to be able to share a presentation regarding the draft scenarios of trustee areas, and then we also invite public comment.
Thank you for that introduction. It's a pleasure to be here. Going to go through the, thank you. I'm going to kind of give an overview of the California Voting Rights Act. The first slide here is a timeline. We're now at the November 14th meeting, and so this is the first public hearing on the trustee area scenarios or the maps that have been proposed by the demographer. And I'll get to those in a few slides. The next hearing will be December 12th, which will be the final hearing on the trustee area scenarios, and then in January, the board will make a final decision on the maps. Criteria that was used in deciding how to draw the maps, where each site has to be equal in population or the number of inhabitants. That includes every person, children, everyone in the family that's counted. We used 2010 census data. We're required to use that 2010 census data. Maps have to be drawn in compliance with the Federal Voting Rights Act, so we cannot discriminate against minority groups or dilute the minority vote. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. It has to be compact and contiguous as much as possible, and we have to respect communities of interest. We will try to follow man-made and natural geographic boundaries, respect incumbency if possible, and take into other considerations such as school boundaries and location of school sites. So let's get a little more specific about the demographics. Sure. These are the maps that I'll be talking about in a minute. So if you have a chance, just take a look at it. This is blown up, so there's a little more detail. So you can see the streets and the natural boundaries that are in the district. So there's 5 different maps. Generally, just in general, oh, sorry.
It's just so that the public can see all of them. And I wanted to be able to see the presentation. You want to put it along the side. Where's your camera? You okay?
Oh, no problem. So, as I was saying, these are the maps. When we're at a recess or a break, feel free to take a look. Generally, the yellow portion is District 1, and we'll get into these 5 distinct areas. So let me start with the demographics. The general demographics of the district, when you look at total population, 44% of the population is Hispanic or Latino, 8% is white, 2%, 2.5% is Black or African American, 43% is Asian. So those are the general demographics of the district that we have to work with. This next slide shows where the Hispanic population resides within the district. The darker areas are the areas where there's the heaviest concentration of Hispanic population. The next slide is similar for the Asian population. It shows you the most highly concentrated areas of the Asian population. The darkest areas are the heaviest concentrations. So the next slide is the first scenario. And the yellow area is trustee area 1. The green area is trustee area 2. The orangish area is trustee area 3. Blue is trustee area 4. And the purple area is trustee area 5. And this scenario contains 2 Hispanic or Latino majority areas in trustee area 2 and 3, and 3 Asian majority areas in trustee areas 1, 4, and 5. And similarly, here's the specific breakdown of the statistics. TP stands for total population. CVAP stands for citizen voting adult population, which is 18 and over. So the next scenario is similar. Similar yellow is the trustee area 1, as I mentioned. Also, it creates 2 Hispanic Latino majority areas in trustee areas 2 and 3, and 3 Asian majority areas in trustee areas 1, 4, and 5. And there's the statistics for scenario 2 as well. And then scenario 3 also creates 2 Hispanic majority areas in trustee areas 2 and 3, and 3 Asian majority areas in trustee areas 1, 4, and 5. So you'll notice yellow is the 1, 4, and 5 are at the top, in the right-hand corner, and the bottom left. Those are the heaviest Asian areas, and the areas in the middle, 2 and 3, are the heaviest Hispanic or Latino areas. These are the statistics for scenario 3. And then scenario 4 is a slightly different model. Trustee area 1 is in yellow toward the bottom, so the numbering is a little bit different. This was submitted by an outside demographer. The concern with this map is that trustee area 3, the way it's drawn, has an 86% Hispanic population and 82% citizen voting population, but only creates 1 majority Hispanic area in trustee area 3 and 3 Asian majority areas in 1, 2, and 5. The remaining area is divided between Hispanic and Asian populations. So that's kind of a quick overview of the maps. And so with that, I'll conclude my presentation. Did I miss one? I'm sorry. Jumping ahead too fast. Scenario number 5, I'm sorry. Also, it creates 2 Hispanic majority areas, areas 2 and 3, and 3 majority Asian areas in trustee areas 1, 4, and 5. 1 is being the yellow, blue, and purple. Those are the Asian majority districts, and the orangish and green are the two Hispanic majority areas. So that's the formal presentation. We'll open it up to public comments, and then we'll have a discussion after that, where I'll be happy to answer any questions that anybody might have. Thank you.
Thank you.
There are two members of the audience who have requested to speak, and at the direction of President Friedman, she will call you to the podium as well as any other members of the public.
The public hearing is for all interested parties to provide comments only on the trustee area boundaries. Public hearings opened at 8:07 p.m. Joshua Maddock. Joshua Maddock. Joshua Maddock. Carlos Perez.
Do I get 6 minutes? So my name is Carlos Perez. I'm the individual that sent the letter to you regarding the violations of the California Voting Rights Act. And for those of the audience who may not realize, the school board voted in 2017 to eliminate at-large elections. So the law required you to act within 90 days, and you did not. You sat on it for 2 years, and when I talked to your council, apparently your intent was to sit on it for another 2 years before you actually do districts. And this is why I'm here today. I want to suggest to you that you reconsider map number 4. Apparently what has not been identified, it's been labeled as one of the district's demographer's own maps, was produced by an individual demographer with 40 years of experience associated with the Dolores Huerta Foundation. That map is carefully drawn. We discovered in the process of reviewing the demographics of your district that your school boundaries do not match what the U.S. Census has. And I would suggest to my colleague that perhaps you want to talk to LACO about adjusting those. But the other thing that concerns me about the maps that you have proposed is that they take incumbency to some degree into account. And I'm particularly concerned about map number 5, which seems to create an individual district for every incumbent. You should know that it is well established in California, when drawing congressional districts and cities, and yes, school districts, that it is unlawful to take into account where the incumbents live. It's not the way we draw districts, and map number 5, in my opinion, is completely defective. I would also suggest that you consider map number 4 as a viable option, because it was drawn completely blind as to where board members lived and incumbency, and does represent, in my view, a more neutral view of what the community should look like. Now, I'm disappointed that the district has not given members of the community the opportunity to draw maps. You know, when this happened in Whittier High School, where I live, the Whittier High School district, they had a workshop, and people were given the opportunity to draw their maps. And perhaps that's something you should consider as well. But as we get through this process, I think that you should really stay away from the idea of looking at where incumbents live. And I do see that each of the keys have those reflected. So please keep in mind that if you do adopt a map that I believe is defective, we do reserve the right to go to court to challenge them. Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone else like to come up and speak?
Hi, hello, I'm Roy Humphreys here. Just very quickly, because I'm representing the simple folk in the district. And if you do anything that varies from a standard process, then it's a disservice to us simple people. And you come along and you have this color scheme up here. Yellow at the top, and I want to what do you call it, mauve at the bottom. And then you come along to number 4 here, and gee whiz, yellow's at the bottom. It's difficult enough for us simple people to deal with the technical aspects of all of this or any of it. And then you do something like that. I think that's disingenuous and just simply wrong. Another thing that would help out if, and on the demographics things by Mr. Perez with all the little dots and everything, it showed clearly that between Valley and the freeway, guess what? It's all industrial. How about some little hash marks to show those industrial? Really, there's nobody that lives there. And therefore, there is a great divide between the north and the south. And as much as reasonably technical, I don't know all the technical aspects that these professionals have, but the people on the south side of the freeway have a significant social cycle.
Boundaries and input received from the community. 5 trustee area boundary maps have been developed based on the established criteria and have been made available to the board and community for review and discussion. Are there any questions or discussion? Lynn?
Regarding scenario 4, I think you pointed out to us that there was only one concentrated ethnic group in one of the areas. Is that correct?
Yes, that was the concern that scenario 4, if you look at the statistics of scenario 4, it only creates one majority Hispanic Latino area in trustee area 3 and 3 Asian majority areas. And trustee area 4, the Hispanic citizen voting age population is 44%, below 50%. And the Asian citizen voting adult population is 38%. So that wouldn't create a Hispanic majority in that district. And so that could subject the district to liability. A Hispanic group could come in and argue that you should have created 2 Hispanic majority districts rather than just 1. And therefore you dilute the Hispanic Latino vote. So that's the concern that I had with the scenario 4.
Could you ask the demographer to double check that?
Sure, I absolutely.
Make sure we get that.
Could you also ask the demographer to check the boundaries of our schools district? It was mentioned that the boundaries might not be correct.
Yes, I'll talk to Mr. Perez about that.
Thank you.
I'll give him a call and I'll need a little more specifics, and I'll be happy to call him.
Thank you.
Carrie?
How are we going to get public inputs?
During the public hearing?
Besides the public hearing, I'd like to see if there are any public sessions of educate the public how and why and doing this, and otherwise the public doesn't have any knowledge.
I know I've attended several meetings, RCPTA, where Dr. Mitchell spoke to the PTA staff and members of the PTA about these maps. She's attended the Roland Heights Community Coordinating Council meeting, did a presentation of the maps and received input, as well as attended many other meetings in the community. I don't know how much more she can really do.
I've attended 2 meetings in the La Puente area, one at Sunshine Park that was for the community, and, well, 2 in Sunshine Park. One was for a group of parents and residents that can only come in the evening, and another that can come in the morning. And they were pretty well attended for the group. And, yeah, and they had speakers here today, but they had to leave because the rest of the meeting was so long.
I believe at the State of the Schools, with all the business members of the community, you did a presentation there also on it. So quite a few meetings have been done in the community.
And also the Superintendent Parents Council. They have representatives from all school sites. Were there. We went over this in detail.
There have been Sunshine Park, Los Arboles meetings. We've had myself personally, our staff represent, and then PTA meetings. We also are at DLAC and ELAC meetings in our schools to be able to share the information. So we have been in the community quite a bit to share the information, and there also has been information that's been pushed out electronically via email to all contacts, not to our employees, but to all contacts throughout the district, so that they have the information.
We just make sure our website is sufficient information on the website for the browser.
And people can always contact the district if they see something they have questions about. I know it's maybe not as convenient, but, you know, we're available, and so is staff if people have questions or concerns.
We have established a special email address, cdra@rolandschools.org, just for the purposes so that we can receive communication not only during business hours, but outside of business hours via email.
Any other discussion? Okay. The next item is 7B. Thank you. May I have a motion and a second to approve the reappointment of Sharon Fernandez to complete the 3-year term as the CSEA appointee to the Personnel Commission?
I make a motion.
I'll second it.
Are there any questions or discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is 7C. May I have a motion and a second to approve the increase in compensation for positions not within a bargaining unit with hourly salaries below $13 per hour to $13 per hour effective January 1st, 2020 in compliance with Labor Code 1182.12.
Second.
Are there any questions or discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is 7D. May I have a motion and a second to approve a partnership agreement between the Roland Unified School District and Roland Water?
I move.
I'll second.
Any questions or discussion?
I just want to thank Roland Unified, Roland Water District for being such a good partner with the Roland Unified School District. They partnered with us on many forest foundations and now with the dispenser of bottled waters, and they've been supporters of other activities, so I want to thank them for their support.
Okay.
As I understand this, there will be so many on the first trial campuses to see how they work, and they're to fill water bottles or containers holding water for the kids so they don't have to fill them with the drinking fountains. Is that correct?
Yes, so it's replacing one existing drinking fountain with both a drinking fountain and a bottle filling station. So it's like kind of you fill up a bottle in your fridge. It's that same concept. And so Roland Water, within our school district, 9 schools fall into the jurisdiction of Roland Water. And so we're entering into this partnership agreement, and they will put a filling station and drinking fountain in each of those 9 schools. In this school year, they're starting with 2 schools, and then depending on their budget, we'll be adding 1 or 2 schools or more, as their budget allows. And they are paying not only for the fountain, but also the installation.
So do they have reservoirs that hold water that fills the
No,
bottles? or is
it's piped into a water line.
Yeah, I've actually seen the carts, and the carts they have about 12 filling stations, and they have filters on the carts. So it's all filtered water. It's really a nice system they've developed.
What comes out of the tap line? And it's filtered. The cart.
Yeah, it's not.
I think, well, the ones I saw, they were, I think, reservoirs.
Yeah, this is right into a water line, so that it has to be connected with a water line, and it's where an existing drinking fountain is.
That would be hygienically better.
Oh,
Yes.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is 7E. This item is a discussion item, and no final action will be taken by the board during this meeting on the topic. Review and discuss board bylaw 9323 as a whole, but in particular as it relates to public comment at board meetings. So I wanted to bring this one up on the agenda because I'd like us to discuss if we want the public to speak before our discussion items and before the meeting, to see how the board feels about that.
I would like to suggest that we maintain board comments on all items at the beginning of the meeting as they currently are. Dr. Mitchell, if I'm correct, legal said that that was fine, right?
That's correct, yeah. The Education Code and Government Code requires that individuals are able to comment before the board takes action, and that could be at the start of the meeting or at the time that the agenda item is heard, as well as before closed session, which we have a comment period there.
And I think also that having it at the beginning of the meeting is more beneficial since there seems to always be more people here in attendance at the start of the meeting as opposed to when we get to this part of the meeting. Anybody else?
I actually brought this up myself also, but I brought up from past experience of going down to LA County Board of Supervisors, and normally what they have there is you can give your opinion and presentations on items that are not agendized at the beginning of the meeting, and then during the meeting, when each item is brought up, you're allowed to speak. And the benefit I found in that was that many times there'd be presentations, and then based on those presentations, it would either support or change my views of what I wanted to say. So I preferred to be able to speak at the time the agenda item was presented, after the presentation was made, such as a PowerPoint presentation or information or whatever. It helped me in my comments then. Speaking at the beginning of the meeting and not having the benefit of seeing that PowerPoint deprived me of some information that I needed before I spoke.
I personally like keeping it at the beginning myself and having all the comments then. It just runs smoother for the meeting. What I would like to see us address though is straightening out this public comments as far as letting the audience know early that we have at the beginning, if there are enough comments, we can cut the time limit down as low as 1 minute. But we need to tell people that ahead of time. And then there's some clarification on the card, I think, that needs to be done regarding the 20-minute period.
So we'll be able to revisit that. And Gary?
I think keeping what we're doing now is fine, and inserting speakers and in between the items that we have already district. So just keep whatever we're doing to speak before the items.
Okay.
For me, it really saddens me when this place was totally packed. And now we're talking about voting and district changing the whole way board members are being elected. And we got maybe 10 people there. It really is sad that an important subject like this, we don't have people representing us from our own district. So, you were asking about community input, about staff input. So we don't have any staff input. So, and it's not from a lack of trying. We tried very hard. They chose to speak and then leave. So that's sad. I still think that you're better off having people speak at the time the topic is presented rather than at the beginning. Because it deprives you of information that might be presented at a PowerPoint presentation or even a budget review. You're speaking at the beginning of the meeting before seeing the budget report. Unless you go to Agenda Online, which many people do. But I guess they could go to Agenda Online and read it there.
Go ahead, Angie. The flip side of Mr. Malkin's comments is that there are several people here, like the individuals who came from Sunshine Park. They wanted to speak today at the hearing, but because of how long things ran early, they couldn't stay. They have family obligations. They may have kids they need to get ready for bed or whatever else they need to do. So those parents from Sunshine Park had to leave. If they had to wait and talk on the topic of the subject, that's not fair to them. We should just have all the comments at the front. That way at least we hear what they want to say before the time runs out of where they have to go to attend to other obligations.
And I feel that we could give them a choice on the blue card. We could say, the subject, I'd like to talk during the discussion, when you're discussing, or I'll talk at the beginning. So that way those people could talk at the beginning and then leave, or the people that want to do it after they hear the presentation, then they can talk to us before we decide to vote.
I think it's customary also that if you're going to decide what Mr. Malcolm and Ms. Friedman are recommending, the public speaks before the discussion, not after.
Right. But they can speak after the presentations.
No, before the presentation.
Well, when I go to the Board of Supervisors, they speak after.
If we let everybody speak before and after, we'll be here until midnight.
Well, we're guessing, we're assuming everybody's going to speak. I think it's like our normal board meetings, we have people speak, and that was the exception. I don't think it's the general rule. Normally we're done by 8:30, so we'll be done by now.
The other decision, we'll have a lot to decide when we come to making that decision. We're just having a discussion item tonight. The other thing we'll have to include is for people who want to make comments on non-agenda, when those are going to be given.
I think that's pretty clear in Edge Code that non-agendized items have to be spoken on at the beginning. I don't think there's a choice on that. It's the agendized items that we're referring to.
And I heard the CSBA person say that it's better practice to have them talk before to be able to let the public talk before the discussion item comes up, rather than all at the beginning.
Well, you figure we are always compared to our neighboring districts, and I don't think any of our neighboring districts do that.
Well, sometimes we pick and choose what we want to use from the neighboring districts, and if they have a bad practice, I don't necessarily want to pick the bad practice.
And some people like to just talk, so we'll have to come up with some type of compromise for a total time per person. They're speaking on several topics.
So is it possible to come back next month and to clarify how we want to do 9323?
Yes, I'm just looking for direction from the board, and what I've heard is you'd like for us to look at revising the card. I think that there's some consensus on looking at the card as it relates to the language in Board Policy 9323. Currently, we are following the way that board policy is written, and I'm happy to bring things back next month. I'm not sure I just need to know what you'd like to bring back.
As far as this, I looked at the blue card and several things. One is, I think we need to be a little bit clearer on what information is required for somebody to speak.
I agree.
We have an asterisk by one thing and that's it, and that's the address. But I think they have options on filling out the card a certain way, and we get to be clearer on that.
I agree with you.
And then I think the other thing would be to specify whether or not they want to speak, like Ms. Friedman saying, at the beginning of the meeting or at the time the item is being discussed. Actually, that's on the card, but it's not clear. They have that option.
But right now, there's 3 board members who want to leave it as is, and there's 2 who are saying, no, let's change it. So we wouldn't need to add that to a card if we left it as is.
Well, we're not voting on it.
No, I'm just saying.
Excuse me, Ms. Friedman, could I just one, since on your topic there, just bring it up to you. Could I do that?
Okay, forgive me, sorry.
So, I think regardless of how we're split right now, I think we need to look at what does the code say as far as what needs to be filled out on the card. I think that needs to be clarified. And that's a very easy thing.
Legible.
Yeah, and that's a very easy thing to do. I would like to see that clarified what needs to be filled out, what doesn't need to be filled out.
And we also are doing as you know, we're doing a full board policy, board bylaw revision that is in process right now, and will be brought to the board tentatively in January or February. And so we can look at that policy 9323 as a policy at any time, December, January, February, and we can adopt it if there's any desired changes to that policy. If I'm to clarify the direction, you'd like for myself and for staff to look at the draft revision of the blue card and bring that back in a draft form for discussion at the December meeting. Is that accurate?
And I think, since we're just discussing right now, that we can all give you input, and then we can all look at the draft. Doesn't mean that we have to change it, but we can look at
And I think our legal gave us some guidelines, but with discussing tonight, we might want to refine those a little bit to include our preferences and maybe have him, reword it and give us some suggestions. So regarding re-agendizing, are we going to talk about the whole topic or just the blue card, or what are we going to talk about?
Well, is it possible to see why CSBA feels that it's not good practice to do it just that way? Or to see if other districts are doing it that way because of some court or something, I don't know.
So I did call CSBA and spoke to her after and asked her for clarification. And she shared with me that most of the issues were around the time limits as well, and it was an ACLU piece that was there. But it wasn't, as long as we are allowing people to speak before the board takes action. And she did advise that as well, that we work with our legal counsel, which we did. But it was not the topic that we thought it was when she had mentioned it. So I didn't get a lot of clarification. I know that Mr. Malkin and I, as well as a few board members, are traveling to the CSBA conference in San Diego in early December. We can certainly ask for clarity there, much like you and I received some clarity on a topic last year at that same meeting. So we can certainly do that and then bring that back. We'll be at that conference prior to the December meeting, so we can bring back some information from there as well if that's desired.
Also, as a director for LACSTA, our board has, I think we have 13 school board members or members from different districts on our board. So I can shoot off an email to them as well and ask them what they do and provide that information to Dr. Mitchell.
And CSBA, I'm sure the people who were on that team, they weren't legally, trained. They were giving their opinion from what they've seen. And granted, they're from the board, the CSBA, but I think I would go by what our lawyer says ahead of what they say.
And when we look at the blue card, we're gonna have to look at the time.
Yeah,
that long time.
So just to make sure we're legally legal guidelines.
The next item is 7F. Are there any candidate nominations of any Board of Education members from the California School Boards Association, CSBA, Region 23, to the California School Board Association's Delegate Assembly, Region 23, Sub-Region 23B? Okay, from the consent calendar, we pulled 8B2, which we have to vote on. Oh, but first we're going to do the consent calendar. All right. Next is the consent calendar. We will approve all of the items in consent with the exception of 8B2 and 8B17, which were pulled for separate discussion and action. May I have a motion and a second?
I move we approve minus the two items you mentioned having been pulled.
I second.
Those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 8B2, independent contractor agreement between the Roland Unified School District, Santana High School, and Jeremy Hart.
I make a motion.
I'll second.
Those in, any discussion?
Maybe.
No. Those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Recuse.
Recused.
I have to recuse myself on this one as Ms. Dr. Hart is a colleague of mine at Mount SAC as well as a very close personal friend.
Okay, motion passes for 1. Okay, and then B17, non-paid internship for senior seminar program. You have a motion?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any recusal?
I will recuse myself as I always do from any items related to my employer, which is Mount San Antonio College.
Okay, passes for. I would like to notify the public that in addition to the public hearing earlier this evening, there will be another public hearing regarding the California Voting Rights Act and the proposed trustee area maps. The public hearing will be at the regular board meeting of Thursday, December 12th at 6 p.m. to receive input from the community on the proposed trustee area maps that will be used to establish the trustee areas in which elections will be held in 2020 and 2022. We are now on the board member comments. We will start with Angelina this evening.
Yeah. Okay, so I have my public comments prepared as I always do, and then things happen and I change them. So tonight is no exception. First of all, I would like to apologize for my phone alarm going off. It was my Ring doorbell. Luckily, there was nothing wrong, just a package being delivered. During public comments, we're not allowed to comment, but however, in our comments, we can address them. I just want to address something briefly. Tonight, I sat here and listened as majority of the public comments, with the exception of a few, and I want to say that again, with the exception of a few of them, told myself and my colleagues that we were disrespecting them and that we didn't value their contributions to the district, and we were negatively impacting their family life. And as I sat here and listened to this, I started to think, when I became a board member, I was a recently divorced mom of 2. I was working 40 hours a week and teaching 4 to 10 hours a week. When I got on this board, I juggled raising 2 kids who were in school, this district, still on my own, while volunteering for their activities, maintaining my family obligations, being the only parent present in their lives, and working for the community as well, including bingo, trying to get bingo started at Roland High School. These are things that I did not have to do. These are things that were outside of my board duties. And I did all of this for less than $400 a month. I did it because I was passionate about this district, I was passionate about the students, and I was passionate about the people who came to work here every day. So to sit here and hear this and listen to person after person tell me that I was being disrespected has really left me feeling some kind of way tonight, and I did not appreciate it. I don't support, to hear people say that I don't support them and that I don't listen to them and all of this other stuff, when so many of you sitting here, so many of those teachers who were here know me, know my story, and know what I did for this district, is not cool. Not cool at all. We can have a conversation, we can agree, we can disagree, but we should always be civil to one another. And I have said that since day one. I have never yelled at anybody. I will not yell at anybody. I will not disrespect anybody unless they disrespect me, some individuals. So, as we leave here tonight, I hope you know that those people who spoke are not the only ones feeling disrespected tonight. With that being said, Thanksgiving, which is my favorite holiday, is coming up. And I just want people to know that people complain all the time about what they don't have and what they're lacking and how horrible things are for them. But I hope that people will remember during this Thanksgiving season that there's always somebody out there who would love to be in your shoes and would love to have what you have and be in the position that you're in. Thank you and have a good Thanksgiving.
David?
I just want to piggyback on that. We had a presentation tonight by Northam, and the largest group here were teachers that teach our students. I think tonight that we could have learned big lesson from the students that spoke. The hello students that were wearing the hello badges, that say hello to everybody when they come in the morning and they greet them, and their positive interactions with them. I think we can learn a lot from those students. And from them, I think we can learn a lot as adults and how we can interact in order to get a constructive discussion going rather than putting people at odds at each other. Piggybacking on what Ms. Pride just said, I work every month with the Sushi Foundation. We do a food distribution. Mr. Shay's there. Mr. Lohman's there every month. And we gave out over 250 baskets of food this last week. And those people, that was all they have for their holidays, is that food. Yes, they had a job. I'm sure it would be the best job. It might not be the perfect job, but they would like to have a job. So sometimes I think we need to put our situation in perspective where other people are. Yes, working conditions might not be perfect, but we have a job, and we need to deal with what we have as far as a budget sometimes and look and give perspective to where we're at. Getting off of that, I want to congratulate all the people that we recognized tonight before the meeting. I think it's great recognition for the students as well as for Giano, what they've done. But I want to also have This Is Your Life, Dr. Mitchell. A lot of you might not know, but Dr. Mitchell was awarded the Marcus Foster Award by the State Association of School Administrators. This is an award that's presented statewide to one administrator. And the Association of State Administrators established the Marcus Foster Memorial Award to honor educators who model the vision of Marcus Foster vision. Foster took risks to improve educational opportunities. His inclusive management style gave community and staff comfort and confidence. He was creative and willing to try new ideas to reach out to students. He was a skilled manager and was willing to take risks, just like Dr. Mitchell is in the Roland Unified School District, to make this the best district in the community. And thank you and congratulations for that award. Also, I want to congratulate Mr. Lohman. He was presented the Kiwanis Distinguished Service Award for heading up the first Kiwanis Club in Roland Heights and chairing that club for 1 year. And thank you for doing that, and thank you for the community service. Kinderfest was a fantastic success. It was creative marketing to enable RUSD to share with young families in the local communities the creative educational opportunities that are offered in our district. I thought we accomplished that goal. And thank you, Gina and Miriam, for coordinating that, and anybody else that might work on that committee. My wife and I enjoyed grading to Roland Elementary, being a superhero and reading in their class. It was a lot of fun, and it was a great feeling to do that. We really enjoyed it. Congratulations to Santana for being considered a model continuation school. I understand they're still in the process of being evaluated, but to be selected to be evaluated was a big accomplishment in itself. And congratulations to Santana. My wife and I attended the annual President's Breakfast at Mount Sac, and it's always great to partner with Mount Sac and hear what the President has to say, and it's such a great relationship that Roland Unified has with Mount Sac that enables our students to benefit from their many opportunities that they offer our students. Congratulations to Nogales and Roland Key Clubs. This last weekend, they participated in Fall Rally. There was well over a couple of hundred kids there, almost about 800 kids. And they won the Spirit Stick Cheers Award. They've been practicing every weekend for the last couple of weeks. And they all do cheers, and 35 East, which they're part of, won the award. So congratulations to Nogales and Roland Key Clubs. And finally, I want to thank Dr. Mitchell, RUS staff, and other community members for spreading the word about voting districts. The more we get information out there now, the better informed the public will be when they go to the voting booths next November 20th, 2020. And finally, I read many newspapers every day. I read 3, matter of fact, every day. And almost every day there's been negative stories regarding school districts in our local communities, including issues of the CBOC irregularities, transparencies, personnel issues, school closures, negative budget declarations, and the list goes on and on and on. I'm not saying RUSD is perfect. Yes, we make the papers also. But I am very proud to say that I'm an RUSD board member, and I'm thankful for our cabinet and employees who have put RUSD on a solid foundation, good systems, procedures, and one of the best districts of choice to send children to for a quality education. Thank you, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Carrie?
I haven't seen so many audience in the board meeting for a long time, many years ago to see it, but for the past 5 years, we were very peaceful and very smooth, and we didn't see it, but see it tonight. Shouting and arguing, it doesn't do any good, and we're all here for the kids. And I wish we can talk smoothly and peacefully, not pounding podium and shouting at each other. So, but I do like to hear what you want to tell us. So for those who not speak because of the time limit, I do see because the in writing and share with us, so I can and give us a chance to hear what you want to say to us. I attend the IQ Academy board meeting this afternoon, and just want to share with you, they do approve the contract between the IQ Academy and the IQ Teachers Association. And this meeting was supposed to be in November 7th, but for some reason there was one member was not able to attend, so they rescheduled to today. I'm the one representing the board for attending the IQ Academy board meeting and on the telephone conference this afternoon. Kinder Fest was very successful. It's the first time we had the opportunity to invite the parents and the young children to attend the information, very informative festival. And I do enjoy the mock classroom and the mock cafeteria, and see the parents and the kids again in the classroom, and I had the teachers had a very good interaction with them, and I think it's a very good experience for the kids when they 2 or 3 years later when they start the school, and they won't cry. Just every time in the first day of the school year start and the kinders, a lot of them they cry when they are getting into a environment they never been in the school environment, so they don't know what's going on. But now they have a chance to see what the school look like, and they have a chance to meet the teachers. They're going to teach them. So when the first day of school, and I think they will cry and they will be very happy to get into the campus. So I think that's an excellent idea for the parents and the kids to know about what is going on for the school. So it's very successful, and I want to thank Ms. Kim and Gina and Dr. Mitchell making a lot of effort to organize it. And I attend the Santana High School continuation model school meeting, and and meeting with the evaluators, I'm glad that most of the board members are there to show our support. And that's very important, and hopefully we'll get it and put it on. And today, Northam teachers and the kids and the principals did a very good job, and there's a very good opportunity for the little kids, for the students. They have opportunity to stand in the behind the podium and to speak to the audience. So I think that's a very good idea for them to present themselves. And that's it. And happy, you should have a happy Thanksgiving.
Lynn?
Thank you, Mrs. Friedman. First of all, that Kinderfest was fabulous. That was a great event. I know everybody else has said something about it, and I think most of the board members were there. To see some of these little kids with their parents jumping up and down, going to the classrooms and seeing the cafeteria. There was one little boy that was screaming and crying, and I thought, oh no, he doesn't want to go in. He didn't want to leave. He wanted to stay. So it was fabulous. It was set up in such a way the kids got to go in and play in a classroom and see what goes on. Cafeteria, there was a big area outside that had kiosks or little tents up where various aspects of the district could be explained. And I want to thank all the teachers and the principals and the staff, and not only the ones that put it on, but the ones that were there to make it go, because it was fabulous. I hope to start visiting more schools soon. Now that the parade is done, I think I'll have a little more time. And I was really proud. I'm really proud of our students, our high school students who get up and speak. Those kids really give back. Look how much blood they get for the blood drives and stuff. They probably save a lot of lives with those. And it's all the high schools. It's Santana, it's a continuation high school, it's Roland High School in Nogales. They all do those types of things and give back to community in as many ways as possible. Now the last thing. I'm piggybacking on what several of the board members said tonight. And I was elected 5-6 years ago. It sounds like a lot of you aren't real pleased with this board right now. Unfortunately, it's negotiation time, and everything is on high gear. We're a team, whether you like this leadership of your team right now or not. We've got to work together. What went on tonight with yelling and hooping and hollering, that's what I see children do. I don't see adults doing that, and I'm sorry if I'm insulting anybody here. But that's not going to fly with me very far. I'll leave. I won't sit here and listen to it. What came to life, though, during part of it, is that we realized we have to make some changes on maybe our communication card. We have to fix that. We have to make it better for everybody. We don't want to make it so everybody can't speak. But because of time constraints, everybody may not be able to speak as long as they want to, but they need to know that when we start. And I'm in favor of fixing it. So I just want to tell you that I'm doing my best. You've got a hard-working board. We've gotten a lot done in the time we've been working. Whether it's appreciated or not is up to you. But I know, and I have a clean conscience, that I have worked very hard. I work hard for the schools, for the district, and for the community. And if you want to change that, let me know, because I'm here for the long haul, and I plan to make this district continue to do better and better as we go along. So have a happy Thanksgiving.
Okay, thank you for all being here at the end of our memorable board meeting. I want to thank all the teachers for their red cards that I received from the last board meeting. I read every one, and it was amazing to see the years of experience from 1 to 35 years. So many people had over 20 years. Thank you. Schools and events that I have attended since the last board meeting, please bear with me. It was a very busy month, but I saw so many wonderful things. Giano Intermediate, real quick, I just want to say it's wonderful that they were 1 out of 10 in the whole country to be chosen to get that award today. That was very special. Also, Giano, Mr. Mitsutani, special ed teacher, had 2 of his 8th grade graders score proficient in math on the state test. And then Mr. Ochoa, principal, explained that they have a 39-minute block of time for tutoring. Students that need help in a certain subject go to that teacher during that time. Or the students that do not need help, they can go to PE or a high level. Students can go to another class and listen to a speaker or do other things. But this makes the core classes for interventions have 15 or less students. I heard a teacher say, "I will see you at tutorial." What a great idea. At Villa Corda Elementary, I learned that Villa Corda will be presenting at the Q conference in 2020. At the State of the Schools, there were students that explained robotics to everyone under the direction of Estela Gonzalez. At Jellic, in Mrs. Buck's class, they went to their individual board on the wall and showed how many different ways to make number 11. They used decimals, fractions, and anything you could think of. So many different ways. Some I don't even know what it was, but it was very impressive. At Blandford, a teacher had students give him a word from their book they were reading, and he had to figure out the meaning. If not, they would get a stamp. Students were so motivated. It was amazing. I would have not known any of those words that the kids came up with from their book. At Hurley, their library turned into Dia de los Muertos display. It looked great. At Roland Elementary, I read to Miss McRoth's kindergarten class as a mystery reader. They even gave me a cape, which David wore tonight. And she said the chatter amongst the students when I was done was, "The president read to us, and she is a girl." Also, Roland Elementary had family learning night. And there were 5 different learning centers. One was to build something out of straws and 1 piece of tape that an apple would be able to withstand and hold on. And the second part was to be able to see those earthquakes safe so then they could shake the table. The parents and children worked on it together. Hollingworth Elementary Family Tech Talk Night was last night, and this was so informative. 2 teachers gave parents strategies to protect their children online and tools to improve family communication. I wish all of our parents received this information. It's so necessary. They also introduced Prodigy, a program for students to use at home. It is free if the teacher signs up their student. Outstanding. At Telesis, the University Cafe turned into a showcase for Native Americans. Students were there to talk about their projects. Some students even dressed up. The projects were incredible. Warramore Elementary had a Dia de los Muertos display, which was amazing. The dual immersion classes and other classes participated. The 3rd graders created their own, and they looked magnificent. They also had Warramore Veterans Day program. Teacher Mrs. London invited my dad to attend. He was in the Army. Her brother was a guest speaker, Colonel Manuel Espinosa from the U.S. Army, who graduated from Nogales High School. The choir sang. The Career Technical Education Workshop by Los Angeles County Office of Education today was at Roland High School. They had buses go to Giano to observe the lab, and there were more workshops to attend. I decided to go to the CTE Career Technical Education Workshop, which Rocky presented. It was fabulous. Santana Back to School Night. Parents were in every classroom, which was great to see. Also, Santana High School, just like David said, has been selected as a model continuation school contender, which is outstanding. The State of the Schools, there was a huge crowd. Students from Jellic and Alvarado were interviewing people, and Superintendent Dr. Mitchell did another outstanding speech. Kinderfest, this was amazing. All that hard work by so many people paid off. The classroom looked so inviting, I wanted to be a student. The pretend cafeteria, the buses, and everything was so perfect. It was outstanding. Miriam and team did a fantastic job, and Gina. What a great way to show off our district. All those employees volunteered and were there so early in the morning to be ready. Such wonderful people. Roland is the best. So this is the last time I will be adjourning the meeting as president, the regular board meeting. I just want to take the time to say thank you to Brandy for helping me all the time. I appreciate you doing so much. You are the behind-the-scenes person who gets everything ready for the board meetings, not to mention all of the other things you continually do. For example, like scheduling the dates for visiting schools is a major undertaking. You do so much, and I just want to take the time to say thank you. You are so appreciated. Also,
thank you to everyone that supported and helped me while being president, especially all the board members. Thank you. Next board meeting, David will become our president. I know he will do a fantastic job. It has been a pleasure, privilege, and honor to be serving as president this year. Have a great Thanksgiving, everybody. We do not need to return to closed session. So may I have a motion and a second to adjourn the regular board meeting of the Rowan Unified School District Board of Education?
I make a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned at 9:03.